This is my Wii U gamepad. And it's a piece of junk. I mean, let's actually break this down. We've got a glossy black finish that absolutely loves my greasy fingerprints, a shitty battery that I'm convinced drains faster when it's off compared to when it's on, and above all else,
it rattles. It fucking rattles. You know how weird of a controller you have to be to rattle when you shake it? This thing ruined the Wii U, and I'm tired of pretending it's some kind of hidden gem.
The Wii U gamepad was first conceptualized all the way back in 2008. As the Wii saw unparalleled success, Miyamoto tinkered away with the Wii remote and incorporated a screen into the design. We very nearly got the Wii phone. It's only a prototype for now, but the concept very obviously progressed into the Wii U's gamepad. Hellspawn. When a console takes a massive detour from the expected like this, I think you need to have a good reason behind it. The N64 controller introduced the analog stick for 360-degree movement. That was a great reason. The Wii remote tried to immerse us in our games with motion controls. Say what you will, but it clearly worked with a demographic. So the reason for spreading our hands apart with a massive screen like this on the Wii U was because the Wii's notification light didn't give the user enough information, so a screen on the controller would be better. What? Huh? What?
Did anyone even know that the Wii had a status light? Much less did anyone pay attention to it?
I think after looking over the gamepad's development and actually having used it on the regular for 3 or so years, this was the exact moment it failed. Not when it released, not when it got cancelled, right then. The core motivator behind making the gamepad wasn't to enhance the gameplay of the end user, though of course Nintendo found a way to incorporate that through their asymmetrical gaming, but instead it was to create a social window through networks like Miiverse, even when the console is off. So when it comes time to make a game that proves to people why the gamepad is actually worthwhile, we're left with 3 options. Nintendo Land, a cute party game that actually does do a pretty good job of proving the worth of a gamepad. New Super Mario Bros. U, which creates an option for a 5th player that no one in their right minds would ever want to play. And Nintendo only released 2 games for the Wii U at launch. The Nintendo Wii U got the N64 treatment. I don't think I need to explain why you trust the N64 with a launch lineup like that, and you don't do that for the Wii U.
They had like Sing Party, but when you click on that on IGN it goes to an error 404, so based on that alone I think we're alright just to axe it from this list completely. But you can clearly see the main thinking behind the gamepad wasn't for gaming, or at the very least that wasn't the only motivator behind it, but rather to support the console in non-gaming related activities. And when you think about it from that angle, surely, this starts to remind you of another console that everyone hated for the same thing.
Kind of. You see, now I'm sort of thinking about it, isn't this kind of what the Xbox One did, like a year later? They focused too much on content outside the gaming space. The hook in the gamepad's first debut trailer in E3 2011 is a dad taking over the TV to watch baseball, and then the kid gets to keep playing the game. If you're a core gamer that Nintendo tried to market for, why would this be a real issue for you? You're the core gamer. You own the TV. Nintendo made a 1080p system in the same era that Sony and Microsoft left 720p in the dust, and then made the best selling point that you can take some games off the TV, because those asymmetrical games very obviously don't work without the big screen. There's simply too much focus on everything you do outside of playing video games. For one, that bloated the console experience for features gamers simply do not care about. For the other, oh god damn it, it's just the Xbox again! If I hold this gamepad up, I've triggered many motion sensors inside the controller. You can clearly see the microphone, the TV button, the front-facing camera. Were any of these really necessary? Look, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say motion is bad, that was a simple example, I swear. There's a reason I specified half of these features are merely cost bumpers, but this is all beside the point. Was there a need for the camera? Did we need the Wii U camera? Did you need Wii U chat? Did you know this camera has an entire infrared array built into it? You can use it to perfectly emulate the Wii sensor bar experience for off-screen gameplay, which is cool. Really cool. But was it worth a $350 MSRP for the 16GB model? Cool. There's no doubt that the gamepad drove up the cost for the entire system, and including things like the mysterious accessory port didn't help matters at all. By the way, micro point, what was the point in this? They included an accessory port for the gamepad, you know, for your Wii U gamepad zapper. Everyone's got one of those lying around the house, don't be shy. But not a single accessory ever came to fruition because of poor Wii U sales. You could argue it's like a catch-22, I think it's the saying anyways. To include the accessory port ruins the console's sales by forcing an ever so too too much price increase and means no one will ever make an accessory that uses it, but to exclude the accessory port removes all the potential accessories from existence in the first place. Alas, we will simply never know.
My personal belief is that the Wii U gamepad just ruined the entire Wii U console bundle. Yeah, it created some great memories, but those become less great and cute when you spent about 4 years with this thing and it's starting to collect dust. But having said that...
Does the Wii U really sell without a gimmick? We can all agree that this gimmick in particular was underbaked, it served little purpose outside of some games can be played without a TV. Not many third parties could really use it outside of that, but yet I don't see how you get a console that, while 1080p, lacks in power compared to the PS4 and Xbox One to sell without some kind of gimmick. It's the same kind of logic that the Switch carries in a way. Would you buy a Switch if it was exclusively a home console? Or just a handheld? If you own a Switch Lite, you just don't count. Don't answer.
So I guess you wouldn't say having a gimmick made the Wii U fail. Would you say the Wii U gamepad's gimmick made the Wii U fail? There's like a slight difference in that, I think.
The difference comes back to the question every manufacturer should ask when making a console, controller, or just about any unique gaming mechanic ever. How are gamers going to use this? The Switch lets you enjoy the same gaming experiences on a big screen or anywhere in the world, not just within 50 feet. It's no longer bound by the living room, and that's what sets it apart from the Wii U in my opinion. But the Wii U pushed that question aside to focus on what you could use it for outside of games. Social interaction without using the console, status updates on the screen while the console is off. Some gaming concepts obviously came to fruition because Jesus Christ, it wouldn't have made it off the assembly line if Nintendo couldn't think of something. But it wasn't enough to truly hook people. There's only so many times you can look at that map on the bottom screen and go,
this is the future.
I don't have any recommendations or like a, here's what I would do differently moment, because ultimately we'll never know. The touchscreen controller was the idea they ran with, and that's that. Doomed since 2008, really. But I do want to at least try and stick up for the gamepad in some regards, because aside from the absolute feature bloats it had, poor battery life, and poorly utilised gimmick, it's a pretty comfortable controller. Playing Smash Wii U on this thing was actually not the horrid experience most would have expected it to be. I never even had a Pro Controller as a kid, or now actually, but I can assure you it's not an unergonomic nightmare. There's a decent amount of width to this thing. And yet I would still reach for a Pro Controller if I had the opportunity, so what's the point, really?
Simple answer? There isn't one. It's the gimmick that failed and it brought an entire console down with it. Nothing else it could have done other than just think of something better. But thankfully, I don't have to do that thinking. People on the internet have thought of something better. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? Wii Phone!